Members of the board. From Boardroom Productions, it's Boardroom Banter. Featuring your chairman of the board, David.
What is happening, everybody?
Chief Mayhem Officer, Derick.
Yo, 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 what is up?
And myself, Greg, your Chief of Obscurity. The following content is explicit. Discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to Boardroom Banter. My name is David. To my left here is Derick.
What is up?
And to my right, as always, is Mr. Greg.
That's me.
Want to welcome everybody, starting your week in the right way. Happy Halloween, if y'all had a good one. This is coming out a day after, but hopefully everyone had a good and safe Halloween. Are you guys doing anything for the ultimate festivity?
Technically, it's Hallows Eve tonight.
Wow. That's super spooky.
Right?
Yeah.
I took a spooky dookie this morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did it have corn in it?
No.
And you didn't know the last time you ate corn, so that's why it was spooky?
I took a shit, I wiped, and there was nothing there.
Oh.
Very
No, that's
spooky.
The perfect
Ghost.
poop.
Yeah.
That's just the ghost poop.
Exactly. It was a spooky dookie.
I like that.
Yeah. It was great. It was a great time.
Well, I will be at work until probably 7 o'clock or later.
Can I say this?
Poor thing.
I'm going to say this. We never say where we work, and I'm not going to, but whoever makes us work on Halloween, it's like every Halloween we've been
What?
there, it's been dead.
Yeah.
We should at least be there till like 3 or 4 and then just go home.
No, because little kids come in, they get some
Yeah.
candy, they get to see that kind of stuff. It's
Well,
nice.
yeah, but then at 5,
Plus, at our age, it's dark at 7. You get off at 7, it's dark. All right, cool, let's go.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me. I
Yeah.
mean, my wife and kid will be off having a good time.
Now having a kid, I don't know. We'll see. When it falls on a non-day off, okay, that may suck a little bit, but
So I think we've already discussed it that there's going to be severe weather warnings tomorrow. So we might be taking the kid in the truck.
yeah.
And just
Oh,
dropping them off in
really?
front of
Yeah.
houses. Yeah. So
I didn't
tomorrow
know
there's
that.
supposed to be a lot of severe weather warnings
Yeah.
to where
Nice.
people have actually been like, I don't know if I'm trick or treating tomorrow here.
The local outlet mall down the road, they do a little trick or treat thing from 3 to 5. And
Right.
thankfully, it's covered, so
Yeah.
we're good there for now. But we're gonna see how it plays out at night, if we're gonna do any door to door knocking. But I mean, hell, today it was supposed to be terrible, and actually it was kind of sunny there for a little bit.
It
and
fucking
was nice.
sucked for a while, though.
I was, man, it was coming down on the way in, but I was roasting in my flannel the last half of the day. Like, man, I knew I should have brought a t-shirt with my fat ass.
It was very bipolar today with the weather.
I got to give this man a round of applause. I'm looking out the window like 4:30, and all of Greg's windows are down in his car, and I know that he let off the reestiest fart that probably is known to existence. And Greg's like, yeah, this morning I came in a little bit hot, and like, dude, this is like fucking 3:30, 4 o'clock, and Greg's sitting out there in the parking lot with all windows down of his vehicle, and he was like, yeah, go ahead and smell in there. I'm like, no, thank you, sir.
Yeah, it was like, go ahead and tell me if it's okay yet.
Wonder if he's got a hole burned in his seat yet.
I mean, no, but I guarantee you it would classify as a war crime.
It's definitely in the Geneva Convention.
There are some bunkers designed to contain that,
Oh,
and it should
that
probably
was the inspiration
be
for Fallout.
there. Yeah.
It happens every time we're outside, and he's like, hey, watch out. Like, the wind shifts directions, like, every single time, and it's like a Mortal Kombat push. Hoo-yah!
Hey, at least I'm nice enough to tell you.
You are.
I mean, next time I could just watch and laugh.
God just wants you to suffer, Derick.
It's your penance for something.
Yeah.
I can taste the onions and ketchup.
This is coming from the guy who will fart curtain you in an office.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What a dick.
He'll trap you in a place where your back's to the wall and give you pink eye.
And have a conversation with you so you can't move at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I will admit it. I am the guy in grocery stores that I will crop dust you.
You're that guy. No
And
wonder
walk-
food tastes like shit.
I will crop dust you, walk by you, and then from afar,
Do you at least
I
not
will
do it in the
glance at your fucking reactions.
Do you at least not do it in the produce section?
Everywhere.
That's why you're supposed to wash your produce.
Yeah, and this guy over here, "Oh, everything's all covered in poop. It's all poop."
Oh, it is.
And he's over there
It's poop
spreading.
again.
It's poop, I tell you.
Don't put it out with your boot.
I'm just saying, if you're having a bad day and you want to bring a smile to your face, just crop dust a group of individuals and just sit back and watch. If you know you got some Reesty ones coming and you're at your local gas station, convenience store, if you're at the grocery store, if you're dropping a parcel off at the post office, just crop dust.
I mean, is there a rule? Do you need
there.
at least like 1 to 2 other people in the area with you so they don't know it's you?
There's
Or
at
do you
least got to
just-
be one so they can at least smell that it was you. Who gives a fuck if they know it's you? If you just let out a glorious fucking ripper like that.
Oh, man.
You're going to be the worst old man in the world.
I know. Come here, Sonny. Pull my finger.
You need that person that sits down in a chair and rips ass as
I'm
you're sitting.
going to be like that old lady that was in Greg's office
Oh, Lord.
that started farting and was laughing about it at like 60-something years old.
Looking me right in the eye and farting in my general
It was like a
direction.
competition.
Yeah.
Are you gonna answer back, sir?
And I just stared her down.
You can't. It's a sign of weakness if you don't
Yeah.
continue.
I did not look away first. I established my dominance immediately.
Yes, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. I was like, don't get me started, lady, because I'll get all hiccupy and farty here in a second. And the whole world will come to an end.
You don't want that.
No. Goodness.
You know, there was something I didn't bring up last episode when I was talking about my time out at Hawaii that crossed my mind. And that was when we went to Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
Okay, let's fucking bring it down a notch now.
Yeah, I'm very somber. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I
But-
thought this was fucking uplifting. Now let's go into a fucking depression.
Just bear with me. We may bring it up there for you. I
right.
don't know. We'll see. So Hawaii is obviously a very touristy spot. Okay. And one of the largest tourists that end up in that area are people from Land of the Rising Sun.
Okay. It's not too far away.
Exactly.
It's
and
a
that's,
jaunt.
and that's why it's a short flight to get into a nice tropical area and have a good vacation.
Yeah.
So, sitting at Pearl Harbor, it was kind of a weird thing because obviously a lot of tourists are there. A lot of tourists from the Land of the Rising Sun. And I couldn't help but think to myself as we're like checking out the Arizona and the Missouri and all that stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
I had to think to myself, are they there to see the handiwork of what happened, or were they there to like see what we were saying about them in order to drop 2 atomic bombs on them?
Well, if they are, I will say this from my perspective, that culture is very prim and proper.
Oh yes.
And they would never fart in a grocery store in the produce aisle.
No, they at least have class.
So maybe it's in remembrance, and it probably is somber for them. I mean, that didn't just affect the people who died when that happened. It affected generations of people after that. And, I'm not like, oh my God, that was so terrible. This happened before. This happened when my grandpa was a kid.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of remembrance, maybe a little remorse, maybe a little intrigue.
And the motherfucker that dropped it on you couldn't even tie his own shoes.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. He may knew how to do the 2 bunny ears. Not the
Loop, swoop, and
Not
pull.
the loops, no.
Yeah, he did the double bunny ear and then underneath and pulled. Not the loop, swoop, pull.
I don't get it though. That's the fuck.
That's kind of
That's an awakening.
it was kind of a weird one for me to see all that, just because knowing obviously the history of all of that, but yet they were all there to check it out at the same time. It was kind of
It's weird.
it was a little.
It's kind of like you feel like bad for what happened. Like,
Oh yeah,
fuck. Do I come up to you and say sorry?
like I don't know. You look at them and they're looking at you like, damn, we did this, and then I look at them like, damn, we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both sides agree at this point that it was just a really bad idea on both parties.
Right.
Yeah. But, there's nothing we could do to change what happened, but there's everything we can do to make sure that doesn't happen.
I mean, war in
again.
general, that's what's going to end us all. Who has the bigger dick? One of them's going to shoot something off. The other person's going to shoot something off. The other person's going to shoot something off, and we're all going to be fucking gone.
I mean, it is amazing how much ego kills.
Especially when you're Napoleon. You're very small.
The small guys you got to fucking watch out for.
It's been a historical fact.
Yes.
Little unhinged.
I mean, hell, they even call it Napoleon syndrome nowadays. That's how good you had to be.
complete psychopath or tortured genius? Let us know in the comments if you know anything about your history, particularly the French.
Yeah, French.
They just hate us. Look, I'll drop an old school Dennis Leary joke. I can't take credit for this, okay? They're just mad at us because we took the croissant and made the Chris sandwich.
Yeah, they are pretty pissed off about that, actually.
Yeah.
But hey, Chris sandwich is it's so good.
They have better voting than us.
They do. They have
You gotta give them that.
better energy than us.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
that time of year, huh?
Yeah.
Next week we're
That
gonna.
about stops there. That's about where it stops.
Yeah. Well,
And giving
I don't
them
know.
compliments.
The wine
Yeah.
and food is pretty amazing.
Don't go too far, sir.
I can do
I don't
without
know.
escargot.
I mean, you gotta
I've
look
tried
at
it. It's
Escargot tastes like shit.
It
Yeah,
does.
no, that's not real French food. I'm talking about actual French cuisine. I mean, it's you can't deny.
I've been to Olive Garden, bro.
I've had a baguette.
Oh God,
had the all you
we're,
can eat.
we're so cultured.
The endless pasta. Come on.
You've never had a crepe?
I've had a baguette.
I fucking don't.
Crepes are
freak
from
me
Sweden, bro. I don't care what you say.
out. Crepes kind of freak me out.
No, I don't. I don't know. I've had French food, French wine. It's good stuff. I'm not saying they're. Let's be French. I'm just saying.
I don't
they
think
got
I've ever
good
had any
food and
French
wine.
weed. I think I need to try some of that.
Yeah, that weed better be lit with the way the French
Bro.
act, right?
Right? They got some good soil over there.
Yeah.
From what I
Yeah.
understand.
There's better be some fucking good kush coming
This
up
is
from
a
that soil.
Merlot Kush. Can you imagine if they're just growing dank ass weed in the
Right?
vineyards?
Oh, speaking of dank,
Is that $1 million idea? Somebody
totally going
do
off on a
that.
tangent on this one, but there was a pizza restaurant somewhere, either I want to say it's like close to the East Coast. Somehow, some way, they made their dough with cannabis infused, and
Probably butter.
and got all of their customers fucking baked. They had to issue it a
Nice.
big old apology for it and stuff.
Was it like a
They just dumped a whole bunch of ghee in there.
was it like a health department issue?
I don't know. Everyone got dosed, so I'm sure that
That's
got out
fucking
real
amazing.
quick. Yeah.
Reminds me of that movie Detroit Rock City where they feed the priest the pizza with the magic
Although,
mushrooms.
I mean, you think about it, though. I mean, that's kind of the perfect way to edible out because
Do you know how many people on a daily
you
basis?
get the munchies.
that's a slippery slope.
I know.
There's so many people on a daily basis that I just want to go take liquid THC and drop it in their drink or on their food or
Yeah,
something.
you're like, calm down, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
Try some of this in your life.
Here's a little
Yeah.
indica in your life. Although
did good
I can't do
once.
indica. Sorry. sativa only in my life.
You've done indica.
I
Every
know.
time you smoke with us
and,
here, it's
and
indica.
what happens? What happens? I crossfade
True.
and I throw up.
Yeah.
That's
He never
funny 'cause
throws up
that's-
on the pod, though. It's always after.
Damn right.
So at least you're a fucking champ.
and you would never know if I did because I'm silent.
Oh
yeah.
man, not me.
I'm-
I'm like the cat that's half dying in the alley a block away.
I am a very, very quiet
in heat.
thrower
Yeah.
upper. It's usually I get that one good one, let it retch out. Good. All right. Flush. Done.
I think
Gone.
I'm fucking loud in everything I
Gone.
do.
My whole life, I've been the guy who busts blood vessels in their face
Mm.
because every muscle in my body needs to get involved.
Yep.
It's
Oh, wow.
terrible. It's not a fun experience.
Something tells me you shit yourself accidentally at the same
No,
time.
I've never had that happen, thank God. Which is amazing because there was a couple of years there. I was a real douchebag and I was drinking heavy and,
Oh, yeah,
and doing
it
drugs
happens.
and
Okay, don't trust a fart past 30.
yeah, right.
So here's a story. My kid fucking tells everybody this, so I'm going to tell everybody this because it's going to come out. So we're fucking at this camping trip one night, right? And we have this teepee
yes.
and this fucking, it's fucking wonderful.
And you wished it was real teepee.
Yeah, I really did. So we're sitting around. I'm making dinner. There's a campfire going. It's the middle of summer. Smells wonderful. Things are going. I thought I was going to be funny, right? So I cock up a leg. Try to just let
Mistake
out
number one,
a ripper fucking 5,000,
right?
and it wasn't. It came out.
You thought it was going to be the Astrocrete, but it was the
So,
Astro
was-
Streak.
So
It was a little.
so doing this,
Mr. Hanky.
So doing this, right?
The camping poo.
I put my leg back down. I didn't say a thing. Probably looked like a deer in the headlights. I turned straight around and I started walking towards the teepee.
You mean squinching towards the TV.
And the kid is probably like fucking 11 at this point, and he was like, "Did you just shit your pants?"
Yeah.
And the whole fucking campground, I sure heard that.
He is pretty astute.
And I'm like, no. And he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Going to throw my underwear away." You know, like, yeah. So he will not let me live this down.
Did you throw him in the fire?
So the second night, I got a better one, right? So,
God, that's disgusting.
We all know what happened there. That happened. So I'm fucking. It's questionable on this vacation. I'm holding it in. I'm camping. It's not going to happen again. I'm not going to let another ripper out. I'm not going to shit my pants in front of my family. So the next day we have McDonald's and we go back into the park and I'm like, oh man, I've really got to go. So like this was when all the fires were happening in Yellowstone, right? Like the whole fucking park was on fire. Sections of it were closed down. We went to a part that was like to the very end of it where the barricades were. Don't go past this part. We haven't seen a fucking car in a half hour. I'm like, I gotta go. And she's like, well, where are you gonna go? I'm like, pull the car over in the road. I'm gonna go behind the truck and just squat real quick. She's like, okay. I shit you not, bro.
Growler.
No. So I go back there.
Grizzly bear comes up on me.
No, dude. Everything is like, I get in position, squat, I'm down, it's pleasant. I let out a little, and then all of a sudden I hear a, like hoofs, dude. And I fucking pulled my pants up as fast as I could. And I'm yelling at her. I'm like, turn the fucking truck on, turn it on, turn it on. She's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. Something's fucking coming after me. By the time I got to the driver door, like holding my pants up, I look afar and I see the fucking trees, like the top of the trees go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I was like, that was something
it was
fucking
Bigfoot.
big.
You found Bigfoot.
It was maybe Bigfoot, some moose, something. So I'm like, I'm still holding it in.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, I gotta go.
You had to pinch it off.
So I'm like, keep the truck running, but don't look back and don't put it in reverse because I don't want you to see the backup camera what you're looking at, right?
Just right on his chest.
Dear God, please tell me she didn't look at the trailer hitch camera at that point in time.
She's sitting there videotaping it. I got you, motherfucker.
But the best thing is the kid doesn't know what's going on. He's young. He's in the back. I'm back there, and I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden I hear, is he done yet? And then you just hear a splat. And he was like, he's done. And that was the quickest, bro. When I got back in that truck, I still don't know what was behind me that day.
Did you wipe?
Yeah. I left it all in the middle of the road.
Well, I mean,
it's biodegradable. There was something coming after me. I wasn't going to put it in a bag and save it. Like, I left it all there.
It was on the verge of death.
I pretty much was.
I have a logistical question. Did the fear of death make it easier or harder to poop?
Way easier. Like, when I went back the second time, it was fucking just bam, done. It was almost like David was talking about earlier. It was very spooky because it was ghostly.
It's a spooky dude.
So it was like when you drive down the beach and all the birds are flying away and they shit everywhere so they're lighter and they can fly faster.
Yes.
In a
You
way.
were ready to run from that. You weren't going to outrun Bigfoot.
No.
But, I mean, you could have tried.
I mean, you could have crapped in your hand and thrown it at him.
He probably would have laughed.
Yeah.
And been like,
Yes, that was pretty much a couple of my most embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
Can't say I've ever had that happen to me, bud.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, I got one for you. Since you shared one, I'll share one. I was out camping with the boys, and I was like 17, 18 years old. We drove up to the mountains about an hour and a half away from where we lived at the time. There was a cool spot up there. It's got a state park. If you go further up, it's a national park. There's stocked trout fishing ponds and wild mushrooms of all different varieties, legal and not so legal.
They're all legal.
And
when you're in the woods.
We happen to have some of those not at the time legal mushrooms already dried and ready to go.
Man, you're quick.
And
how'd you do that?
We
in the
brought
woods?
them.
Oh,
We brought
them.
Yeah. We weren't smart enough to forage.
Yeah, well,
At that
I may
point in
have
time,
picked some of those this weekend.
You probably would have got a death cap or something.
Yeah,
you know?
at that point in time, we were smart enough to know that we could die doing it, so we didn't.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're up there, we're hanging out, we're tripping balls, and anybody who's ever eaten psilocybin mushrooms know that it really messes your stomach
What's
up. What's
psilocybin? I've never heard of that before. Is that? I ate a mushroom one time.
Hallucinogenics.
I did. I saw colors.
It's
and I farted and I cleared a whole room out.
Yeah, it's terrible the next day.
Oh, so that's what happened to me.
Yeah, so these mushrooms give you the worst gas, the worst poops. You got the runs the next day. It's terrible, especially if you eat a lot of them. So,
But I hear the experience is great.
well, it's
Depending
it's
on
fun.
the experience.
Yeah, depends on you.
It could be really bad.
It depends
It
on your
really
mental
is
state.
all up
I
to
hear.
you.
Yeah.
So, I get up and I get out of the tent the next day, and I'm trying to make it to behind the trees because my stomach is just bubbling and growling, and I make it as far as the back side of the tent, and I knew it was like the point of no return. So I dropped trowel.
You shit on your tent, didn't you?
Oh, okay. So yeah,
You slimed your tent,
So,
and
but-
that's right where your pillow was, I bet, too. So you had to lay and
So-
smell that for the rest of the trip.
it was the
camping
last
trip.
day. So I'm pulling down my pants and going to squat down, and it comes out like bird shot. I mean, it was the biggest peppered spread. It was terrible. I left the tent there.
I know somebody else that did that.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
Yeah, yeah. There was no shitting involved, but boy,
Yeah.
there was copious amounts of alcohol, a firearm, fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the above. It was a very interesting night, to say the least.
So I dropped trowel and I'm going to haunch down to handle business, pepper my tent so bad, right? And I just hear my buddy in the other tent just laughing fucking hysterically. And we packed up and left that morning after everybody got up. Didn't eat nothing.
I hope so.
Packed all our shit up and just left. I left the tent there. I wasn't
Yeah.
taking it home with one side of it completely blasted.
It's like camouflage.
And then some poor park ranger had to come later that day when it was already dried to the side of it. Maybe half slid off, maybe just slid off on the ground around it, and was like, "Oh, I wonder if somebody died in here because
God, this is a nice tent. Why is all this
Yeah.
mud on it?
Yeah, oh boy,
Tasted it.
Yeah. See, mine, it didn't involve shit that night with my, who knows, maybe one day I'll elaborate on that story some more, but it was throwing up all of themselves.
yeah,
Yeah. That was
seen that too.
That was a good night, actually. I reveled in that.
So-
Actually, hanging in my hammock.
The July before I moved here, we had a camping trip with two sets of our friends, 3 of our friends total, and went up to that same area I was talking about in the mountains. And I don't know if it was the first night or the second night. It might have been the first night. Maybe it was the second night. We've been drinking probably most of the day, and we're hanging out around the camp. Finally, I stumble on over to my tent and lay down, and I'm just hammered. And I don't drink to excess super often. And at that point in time was already at a point in my life where I didn't drink to excess super often. So 10 minutes probably go by after I lay down, and I've got the spin so bad I'm like clinging on to the world in hopes I won't fall off
It's a
of
terrible night.
Unzip the side of the tent just enough to stick my head out, and everybody else is still sitting around the campfire because they didn't guzzle booze like I did.
Oh, you were that guy.
Yeah, and just Ralphing out the door of the tent. My poor wife is still sitting by the campfire like, great, I get a step over that going into the tent. We have a tent we call the Taj Mahal, or the Taj for short. It's a 3-room Coleman cabin tent.
Those are good.
Yeah, it fits 10 people.
So she found your back door then.
Well, there's the sunroom door, right, and the other door. So she went to the other.
You have a sunroom in there?
Door. Yeah, you can. It has bug netting, and you unzip the shades, and it's just like netting if you unzip all the shades. And it was great. We still have it. It's lasted my kid's entire childhood. And the first time he went camping, he was 6 months old, which is just old enough to go up that elevation without it affecting their ears. And that poor kid, driving from where we lived, which was Moses Lake, Washington at the time, to that area, which is the Blue Mountains, you have to go through rolling hills, twisty, windy roads. Poor kid's throwing up on himself in the car seat and the back seat the whole time.
That sucks.
Yeah. And then we get up there, but having that tent, because we got married up there, was awesome. Because we could throw them in the other room on the other end of the tent, and we had the center section lined with all our stuff, and then the other section is where our queen size air mattress
So was it this camping trip when you decided to throw up outside of the door of your tent?
Mm-hmm.
Was this the trip that you and your wife decided this is where we're getting married?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so to back this up, because I know I meshed them together, we got married in 2013. The camping trip was in 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he threw up on the spot where they got married.
Yeah, basically.
That's rude.
Yeah.
That's really rude.
No, we were camping in a different spot.
Okay.
That July
But it's
before
like
I moved
that's
down
like the
here.
sanctum now. That whole it's like the sanctum now.
Okay, so our wedding was super redneck.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, we probably spent $1,500 in total. We have a big group of longtime friends, so everybody brought booze. We brought a keg of Rattlesnake Mountain Heffy and the full size keg, 8th barrel, right? And shout out to Rattlesnake Mountain. That's some good beer. $1,500. I wore a button-down shirt and slacks and a tie. My wife bought a cool little dress and wore cowgirl boots, and
That works.
my sister from another mister's mom married us, and her dad did all the food.
Okay.
Which was like Yellow Jacket heaven, as he was doing, because we had pulled pork sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool. I mean, really, our wedding was wild. Our wedding was absolutely wild. There was a half of a fist fight. There was keg stands.
How was there
Wait,
half of a fist fight?
Yeah.
Well,
was-
it didn't. It only lasted long enough for one person to push another person over a campfire, and then we swooped in, and
So no fists were ever thrown.
not really. No.
So it was like a push fight.
I guess technically, if you're not making a fist, that's half a fist if your hand's out for a push. Because
Wow. I mean,
there.
I'm just
that's
saying.
like a quarter.
I don't know.
It was wild, and anybody who was at my wedding can tell you it's at the time it seemed like kind of tragic what went down. I don't want to go into super big details because everybody's sensing is squashed. It was
I got married in a Mexican restaurant.
yeah, I was there.
I remember that
they
day.
they had the most excellent tequila ever,
That was the best.
and
tequila
they
I-
won't tell us what it is.
The first time I realized David was a human and he talked.
Yeah, that was the first time I got to meet your old lady.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a talker. It takes a bit to get it out of me.
Yeah.
But once I'm there.
But if you take tequila, if you take David to the bar and take 3, 4, I don't know, 5 shots of tequila with him.
I don't drink tequila. That night, I almost turned it down when he first brought it up, and he was like, "Here's a shot of tequila
Yeah.
for you." But I knew it would be rude to say no.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously he owns the place, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that'd be rude to say no. So
Well, I told you I
And-
was allergic,
yeah,
and I still drank it with you.
my God,
I mean, it makes me break out in handcuffs.
I still to this day I still want to know what that tequila was.
It was so good.
It's
David
unlike
probably
any-
took like 32 shots because as he went around every table, he's like, "You got to try this shot with me. It's
Yeah.
the smoothest ever."
and
I'm not a tequila guy, and I got to admit with you, I took that shot and it was smooth. I hate fucking tequila. I don't drink tequila. The last time I
didn't
drank
even-
tequila was your wedding.
It didn't even taste like
But it was good.
alcohol. It just tasted like water to me. And that's what I knew. When not being rude, I took that and I threw it down and I threw it back and I looked at him and I was like, "Oh no!" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "That's really good," because I can't stand the taste of tequila. It's either if I drink liquor, gin's my number 1, whiskey's my number 2.
My mother-in-law,
And usually it's
loved
the opposite for
Patron.
most people, but gin's my number 1.
I can't do gin.
Psychopath.
That happens.
It's too oaky for me.
Not
You
the
crazy
first. Not the
bastard.
first time I've been called that. Even my wife. You drink black coffee, you're a psycho. Yeah, because black coffee's good. I want to taste the flavor.
I just can't do I can't remember what it's made
And you
with.
should
I know it's not pine needles,
And
but
you should see my
juniper.
coffee cup.
Is it made with juniper?
Juniper,
Yeah.
and it's actually, believe it or not, juniper berries are really, really hard on your liver.
Man, I just can't do. Even if I would get like a Long Island or an AMF or something like
Yeah.
that, I would tell them to skip the gin and do double vodka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know
I
what's
just
not
can't
hard on your
do
liver,
it.
though?
What?
Boardroom Banter L.
Amen.
You know, I was going to plug that at the very end, but we'll do it now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We haven't plugged it all episode.
I know. I was thinking about it at the very end.
I kind of thought that was the perfect time.
Everyone hearing all the cracks of, what is that in the background? I don't know what that is. I
Well-
was going to finish it off with, and everybody, all the cracks that you heard tonight, that was brought to you by Boardroom Banter Ale.
The most delicious ale.
It's the most
I blew
delicious.
it.
You will not. No, you didn't know. I didn't pre-program you before the episode.
It was like when I lost my virginity. I blew the fucking load way too soon.
I mean, while we're there, Boardroom Banter Ale, you're never going to find it. It's the most delicious beer you will ever taste.
Find it nowhere.
And
Except
that's the
for
problem.
you won't.
That's the problem. You will never know what it tastes like. We here at Boardroom Banter get to enjoy Boardroom Banter Ale.
Not only is it crisp, delicious, and thirst quenching, but it also comes in 7-packs and 19-packs.
Yes.
At stores nowhere near you.
Just in case if, you wanted a road soda before hanging out with your friends.
So you guys almost won.
A quick quencher.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just a palate cleanser right before. But, who knows? Maybe one day, maybe our board members will be able to experience Boardroom Banter Ale.
No, they won't.
Oh, okay.
They would definitely need to prove their worth.
Unless they're here with us.
Yeah. You know what?
Pretty much. Unless you're in the fucking gauntlet.
So is it going to be like a Diddy White party for us then?
It could be.
Minus the GHB and the rapey
That
stuff.
would make it a lot better.
Yeah.
And not in my sex dungeon.
I mean,
Do you
we
notice
can do it in
speak-
sex dungeon.
Did you notice I turned the temperature down in here? I didn't
Yeah.
want to be associated with Diddy because Diddy said he liked to keep the temperature up.
I just assumed it was because you liked erect nipples.
No, I did it so I had no association with Diddy anymore. Like
yeah.
I didn't want people to associate.
I could
this.
spin on my nipples right now.
You could spin on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You hang Christmas ornaments off them right now.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I can't. I'm wearing 2 layers of clothing.
You still can.
I don't know. Maybe.
I've got faith in you.
I don't think it's happening right now.
He's got a flannel. Everyone stays warm with flannel.
With a undershirt under it, of course. Undershirt.
Man, it's like here, you got to wear like 4 or 5 layers to even fucking stay warm.
I don't know. Not me, but A, I'm a big fat guy. And B, where I moved from before I moved here, it got way fucking, I know you too, got way fucking colder.
Way colder, man, but I got to disagree. I'm going to disagree with you on that one, sir. Because it got way colder, but it was a dry heat. And it was a dry cold.
There's a big difference with that dry versus a wet cold.
A dry cold versus a wet cold. I'm sorry I said heat at first, but I was
No,
saying...
no, I get you.
Dry heat,
I was
dry
picturing
cold.
what you were saying.
But
yeah.
but just the dry cold to me opposed to like the humidity. Like I've had I got bad joints. Like
does
that's why I
cling
stopped
to
doing a
you
lot
more.
of mechanics and shit. And like when it gets the humidity and it gets
Yeah.
really cold, man, I fucking hurt.
Shit, it's
bad
like
here.
It's like even here, it could be slightly warm out, but the wind here, whoo!
So I was
I don't
talking.
care. That wind hits your bones, bro.
I was talking to my dad this morning actually, and he was like, "Oh, is it fucking? You guys got a cold front?" I was like, "Oh, we had like a frost warning last week."
Yeah.
And I was like, it's cold. I'm like, the wind's been blowing. It's clear right now. I said that this morning before we got that huge rainstorm. But he was like, oh, fuck, it's like 32 degrees right now in Salt Lake. And I'm looking
Yeah.
at my onboard temperature in the car driving to work, and it was still like 42. So I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Speaking of that, there was an article today that the passes, not any local passes, I'm talking passes east of us.
Yeah.
What did they say? 6 inches to 2 feet of snow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It just
Yeah.
starts dumping.
May have to, after Halloween here and stuff, we may have to go get a cabin again and go take the kiddo up into the
Yeah.
mountains.
Well, they've already closed some of the passes in Washington that are less developed
Yeah.
in like summertime
Yeah.
use only.
I'm surprised even with my kid, because my kid was 2.5 at the time. She still remembers going up there and sledding and everything. I was like, wow, okay, you still
So
remember that.
I'm flying next month
Okay. Yeah.
because when I go back home, I have to go over what is called Dead Man's Pass. And
Yeah.
it's called that for a reson.
Yeah, I've been.
Oh,
over
it's
that
not one of those
pass.
places where you're like, this totally doesn't make sense. Why would you call it that?
No, so Dead
Oh.
Man's Pass, like I grown up around snow, ice, driving in it my whole fucking life. And when I came here the first time, I was in a Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah.
Had to go over that. Didn't have snow chains when it said snow chains required. I was like, fuck this. I've drove it my whole life. Luckily, I got behind 2 plows. But like, it was some of the scariest shit I've seen,
I
man.
bet.
Like I was, it took me a long time to get here, but it was fucking like, it's different.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm used to driving in snow and shit, but yeah.
Yeah, not that kind.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you start getting mountain passes covered in snow and ice, and you got no traction. It's
like
no
even that
bueno.
one.
But it's called Dead Man's Pass for a reason.
up in Washington State. There's one. It's called White's. I think it's White's Pass.
White Pass.
White Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, up to Parkdale or Packwood.
Packwood.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can be kind of treacherous. You're talking about Central Washington there. That could be treacherous.
I drove that in the summer, and I mean, beautiful country up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful country, but I'm sitting there as I'm driving. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is terrible in the winter.
Biggest Roosevelt elk you will
I bet.
there, and they walk around town. They're much like here, and like your neighboring town over here.
Yeah.
Just they're local pets. They just stand out in the gas
I don't
station
doubt
parking lot and eat shit off the ground. Right?
I don't doubt it. At all.
Obviously, you don't want to approach them, particularly in the fall, because fuck around and find out. But they got racks big enough to
All you
hang a
gotta do
hammock
is just get on YouTube and watch people at fucking Yellowstone.
I know.
Jesus.
It's stupid. It's
So stupid.
if you want to if I'm standing 10 feet away from a bull elk or a elk cow with a calf anywhere nearby, I'm leaving slowly.
I know. Like I had a big one in my yard last year, and I mean, I brought the kid out with me, but I kept it in such a way because she wanted to see it, and it was literally right in the yard, right next to the front door of my house.
Oh wow!
So I kept the storm door open to it.
And
let the kid, and we're sitting there looking and everything, and he was. I mean, you can tell like he's eyeing, you know, and body language. I don't care. Animals still have body language. Like, get the fuck away from me.
If you know what you're looking at,
any closer, bud, we're gonna have some words. You're good there, but and I was like, okay, so we'll stay here.
They're so domesticated here. They understand that most people are gonna come look at them, but they're not gonna get too close.
Yeah, exactly.
The dumb tourists that come through,
It's been fucked up the last few weeks because I usually walk my dog, you guys know, a couple miles in the morning. But it's been rutting season.
Yeah, and there's elk everywhere.
Oh, they're all
yeah.
over.
So where we live, right? Like I've gone out like a couple mornings, man, and the noises I have fucking heard some of these things make. And like I'll be walking my dog and it's far away from them, but they'll notice me coming. And the whole herd will turn their fucking heads and point at me. You know how fucking
creepy.
scared I am at this point? Like, is the whole fucking thing? I'm a city boy.
It's creepy.
Are all of them going to fucking charge me?
No, just the bulls.
I don't know if I can
just the
run
bull.
faster than them. My dog's fucking just wanting to go towards them.
All the cows are alerting the bull, like, hey,
But,
we all
dude,
see something. What are you gonna do about
Holy
it?
fuck.
No, they'll fuck you up too.
Yeah, so I've been just doing littler walks, the last couple little bit.
You definitely want to stay. We remember when we were disc golfing, and there was that cow with her calf not too far away.
Yep.
Just 10 feet from us, and I'm like, hey, let's not stand here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did the noises they make, did they give you flashbacks to when you were shitting?
No, I didn't hear any noise. I just heard hoofs. Like I heard like heavy like.
That was
Back
tree
behind
knocking. That was tree knocking.
No, it was something coming on the cement, like the pavement, and then I saw the trees fucking whoosh, whoosh, whoosh,
It's probably a
wave
moose.
as it went back.
It was probably a moose.
Probably
And if it was a bull moose, they're
Yeah.
aggressive.
Very.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
actually more people that die from bull moose every year. What was it?
All I know
There's
is I ran as fast as I could. I probably had a half a shit hanging out and fucking pulled my pants up and told her to turn the truck on and was at the fucking driver door in like 1 second.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
There was a, I don't remember, I'm not going to look it up, but there was a stat about moose deaths in relation to another animal, and you're like, wow, they actually kill more. I want to say it was grizzly. I could be wrong. Correct me in the
Moose are
comments.
fucking vicious.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I could have swore that it was moose have actually killed more people than even grizzly.
My
It would
buddy-
make sense to me.
My buddy used to have a moose lick outside of his property. It was fucking cute, proper, right? You'd watch these moose lick it. It was amazing.
Salt
And then-
lick.
Yeah, one of those
Yeah.
salt licks. And then so it had a fucking baby.
Oh,
This motherfucker, every time he went home, would have to run from his fucking car to the front door because it would try to charge him. Like, it took over his whole house until, like, the Department of Wildlife had to come relocate this animal. Like,
makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah,
was pretty-
the moose found a safe spot for its calf.
And he gave it a fucking salt lick, did all this stuff for it, loved it.
Yeah. Not
then
anymore.
I had a baby, and fuck, that thing, like, it, like, got within, like, a couple feet of him one time before he, like, shut the door, and the thing, like, rammed the door, and he was like, yeah, this isn't fucking happening anymore.
Yeah, that's why I don't bait him.
Like,
Yeah.
he's living in, like, at a prestigious Deer Valley in Utah where, like, Oprah lives and shit.
And
he's,
see-
like, paying a premium, and he's like, no, this shit's, no.
I mean, that's kind of the odd thing, though, too, is like here in this state, you can't bait at all.
No.
Not allowed. But boy, you go somewhere, someplace in the
Texas.
south and all that kind of stuff. You have property, you're allowed to just sit there and bait. I don't know. If I moved to another state, I don't even know if I would want to do that to hunt. But I'm guessing because of the way the land is in those areas versus here, where we have a lot of public land here.
Yeah.
A lot of public land here. A lot. I'd be curious, because the further you go east, the less public land you get because it's more inhabited.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that you would do that because, I mean, you're not really going to be like, hey, I'm going out into the woods for, 2 weeks. See you soon. I'll be
Right.
back with a kill. Out there, you're probably not doing that a whole lot. I don't know. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. If you're out there on that side of the U.S. of A. And,
I mean, Salt Lake's
and
a
you
huge
hunt.
city, but there's a lot of land in between other huge cities.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the next biggest city
such
to
a
Salt
mountain.
Lake's like
It's all right.
Vegas.
It's Rockies, right?
And then probably Colorado. Yeah, it's the UN. It's a lot. There's
part of the Rockies or
there's
something.
Rockies. There's the Wasatch Front. There's
Yeah.
the Uintas. There's like all it is mountain ranges
Yeah.
in Utah. It's crazy. Like you're in a big fishbowl of mountain ranges. But
Well, so speaking of being out in the woods for 2 weeks, if anybody has heard from Brian, a.k.a. Brad,
that guy. Fuck that guy.
send up a flare, pop smoke.
I saw him. He's there.
I'm never even gonna say fuck that guy. That's mean. That's rude.
They
But
did
Derick-
just have a baby. He has
Derek-
been in.
Oh, now
hunting.
you're making excuses. For
No,
him.
no, I'm not. So he did say to me though
Hyped
this
us
week
up,
he's
got
like
us all
see
excited.
You, he's
We
like
thought, like,
see
hey,
you in
we-
the sex dungeon.
We got this fan. Like, oh, this is amazing. We actually have a fan, and
The first time you get a hand job and it might be from a fat girl, but you're really proud of it and you're gonna fucking tell all your buddies about it anyway, and you might make up a little bit more. So maybe that's what it might have been.
tell you what, though, that fat girl hand job was probably the best one you had with all that padding.
There's a lot of calluses.
Got to be too something to do something.
I guess.
Yeah, she'd
Jesus.
fucking grip those fucking Twinkies and
That's
ding
a-
dongs tight,
You
bro.
ain't a
I was
lady
gonna
unless
say,
you
that's
180.
I was going to say that's just a lot of jerking on her part.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about the first time.
Oh, come on, Derek.
I don't want to talk about it.
Everybody needs love.
Hey, no, Greg, it's
I made sure every single one counted from there on out.
It's bad if he doesn't want to talk about that, but he talks about shitting out the back of a vehicle.
Okay, I got
hoping
something
that,
to say about this. Ready? I'm going to quote Redman right now.
Oh,
I love a fat girl with a body enormous. It ain't about the weight, it's about the performance.
oh. Wait, do I do the snap fingers?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
This is not.
Oh, I thought you were doing some slam
No,
poetry.
this isn't slam poetry. No.
Oh, okay.
We're not in L.A., bro.
Oh, all right.
Or New York or Seattle or any of those.
It probably sounds better with a beat behind it. I get what you're going at.
Yeah,
I like it.
No, all of my old school friends, they'll know that one. It's a good song.
It is. That
Wu-Tang for life.
sounded
Wu-Tang
pleasant.
forever.
Sounded pleasant.
Vatos Locos for life. Wu-Tang forever.
That would like hip people say that was very
Wu-Tang has
pleasant.
nothing to do with Vatos Locos.
I know. I said it wrong the first time, and then I backed it up and
I
sorted
think
it
Wu-Tang
out.
would slap you for that statement. The
Yeah,
Vatos Locos
probably.
forever.
I mean, let's face it. I walk up to anybody from Wu right now, they're probably going to slap me anyways. Here I am,
No.
middle-aged fat white
No.
guy.
I mean, there is a man from Wu-Tang that owns one of the local dispensaries here.
I'm just saying, if I walked up and I'm like, yeah, fucking Wu-Tang, I love you guys, they're going to be like, looking at me like, where the fuck did you come from?
He does a meet and greet once a year
Oh, really?
at a dispensary here that he owns.
Next time that happens, I got to go.
It's happened
He's
every
gonna
year.
Fucking fanboy out.
It's happened
I'll
every
totally
year.
fanboy out.
And if you go in their dispensary, they have a huge mural, and in the corner, I've always like, who's your artist that did this? And there's a Wu-Tang symbol, and then
Badass.
the name right by it, and it's
I'll have to go check that out.
pretty cool, man.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm just a fan of the music. That's all it is.
Ain't no
He does
harm.
own a dispensary here.
Ain't no fault on
The
that.
story's good too.
Yeah, ain't no fault on that. It's all good.
I mean, that was like, big when we were young.
It was. I wasn't big into rap
When I was young, bro, we're a few years apart.
So-
It was fucking the Millennium album by fucking Backstreet Boys and like fucking NSYNC. I'm gonna be real,
Right.
Like when I was growing up, it was like,
Hey,
like so, yeah.
don't forget about 98 Degrees' debut
98
album.
Degrees wasn't even a thing. So 98 Degrees had their album.
They did.
And like I was like probably 10 or 9 when the Millennium album
And then
dropped,
the
and
most
I was like, oh
the most
my god.
obscure album of them all, O-Town.
Yeah.
O-Town.
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 Sounds familiar, but I
O-Town.
couldn't.
O-Town.
O-Town.
Oh, okay.
Very obscure.
What about what was that group where it was like a brother sister, but it was like they did a weird song that a brother and sister shouldn't.
Didn't
do
they have a
together?
hot girl on the cover?
No. You know what? I don't even remember. I just remember that existed. I remember hearing at least one song because I think they were just a one-hit wonder back then.
Yeah.
But O-Town, because they were from Orlando, I believe it was.
What about like just a little bit prior to our generation? Like when you hear some Ugly Kid Joe and you'd be like, what
Oh,
the
I remember
fuck?
Ugly Kid Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
You never
What?
heard of
You never
Ugly
heard
Kid
Ugly
Joe?
Kid Joe?
No. I guess I'm
Hate
sheltered.
everything about you.
Oh, man.
I guess I'm sheltered.
Well, I
Who
bet
knows?
if
Maybe I know the song and I just never knew
You
the
probably
artist.
knew the song.
I bet if I play the song, you'd be like, "Yeah, I've heard that."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guarantee it probably.
That's probably a thing.
Yeah.
But like my days for real, like there was a lot of Backstreet Boys, some NSYNC.
That was the thing,
Weird
dude.
fucking Britney Spears, some
Frosted
Christina
Tips.
Aguilera. Like I remember watching the Britney Spears video where she had the fucking snake around her neck, and then I fucking was watching the MTV Music Awards, and I saw a young man named Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers.
Oh, I remember
Dude,
that.
the
year.
real Slim
Yeah.
Shady, and that's where my whole life changed. I
That was
think.
actually a pretty good one too.
I
For
went-
live performance, that was actually really good.
I
Considering
went-
the fact that Fred Durst, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, they were all in the crowd for that.
So I went from jumping on my
Yeah.
bed with David Miller, listening to Backstreet Boys, holding hands with them, to fucking being a hardcore thug, probably like fucking Eminem came out.
Before he went to bed that night.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know.
No.
I was listening to a lot of Backstreet Boys then with them, and we dance in our bedroom and jump on our bed, and like we were fucking young.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys in that era that was like popular, and
I was the oddball that had frosted tips and Janko jeans.
Oh, I had those too, but I, still
don't
listened
think
to
that was
Backstreet
that
Boys.
oddball.
Well, I mean, just the fact that the frosted tips, that was the whole NSYNC thing.
Show me the meaning of being lonely.
Now sing it in the voice of Kim Jong Il.
He she hosting, I need to
No, I think it'd be more like, "Show me the meaning of being lonely." So lonely. Oh boy, no! I
do it
was.
in an Australian accent or an English accent.
In English, huh? Oh, boy.
That's all you, David. You go ahead.
Wait, show me the meaning of being lonely in an English accent?
Yep,
God damn.
yep.
British.
I know,
British.
but this is the thing. I listen to a lot of music from over there.
I know, so I want you to give your best fucking.
But they sing. Here's the weird part
Do
about
it like Susan Boyle would, fucking back on the.
the thing is, when a lot of British people sing, it comes out as almost American English.
Well, here's a little fun fact.
Stop
for you.
overthinking this. I want you to have an
I'm
English
just saying,
accent while you sing.
I'm just saying, accents kind of disappear from over there
They-
when they sing.
They disappear from most cultures when they sing.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to be able to. I would just be doing it a disservice, and then I would be rude to all British people trying to sing
All right.
in a British
Give us your
accent.
best fucking NSYNC line.
Oh, God. It's just the only one I really. Bye. Yeah. With the whole. With the hand.
We all know the hand thing, but do you know any other line from that song?
No.
Don't you know that I'm just a fool for you in this game for two?
Oh, yeah.
And you're leaving this behind.
That's more than I knew.
I'm sorry.
I'm not
Way
judging
more.
you.
I've forgotten a lot of that music, but wow, you're. You're
Bro,
bringing me back,
And then
Derick.
you listen to Eminem and like you bleached your fucking hair, you got earrings, you fucking started wearing
what's funny
oversized
is
clothes, and that was the thing.
When I started doing this with my haircut, keeping it as short as I did, it used to be a lot lighter.
Did you or did you not?
I was once confused because I used to be very clean-shaven, baby face, and I was on the Venice Beach boardwalk, and some Asian tourist confused me with Eminem one time.
Well, I've got a fun fact for you.
Their eyes must have been really fucking close.
You gotta remember,
You do not look like
I was a lot younger, less wrinkles on the face, less gray, more vibrant and youthful, we'll put it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was at one point confused. It made me blush a little bit. I thought it was pretty fucking funny, to be honest. They wanted to get my picture and everything. I was like, no. You know, I was like, not. They're like, Eminem.
Eminem
like,
changed my life
I'm
back
not.
then, and thank you, Eminem, for everything you did.
So
You brought boy bands to fucking.
Except for your recent stuff, bud.
Well, yeah.
Not albums or anything. Just
Greg wants to talk.
just recent conversations that you've had publicly.
Eminem, you suck
Sorry.
now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You suck.
I can't get on board with that.
You're on the same level as Machine Gun Kelly.
Music's great, but I
don't do that to him.
Yeah, no,
I did
can't.
that.
Music's great. I just can't have a beer with him.
So
His music's not even great. Have you heard the last album? Sorry, Greg.
no, it's okay. My wife has a cousin. You were talking about the MTV Music Awards where he did the Real Slim Shady and all those guys followed him out.
Yeah.
My wife has a cousin who was one of those guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
Very
yeah.
cool.
Should
That's
bring her-
badass.
I'll bring her on sometime. She can tell you the story.
Yeah, like that was the Eminem of my day. Our day.
Yeah.
That I fucking threw out the fucking Millennium album, I think, that day. And
You know, but truth be told, even with NSYNC and all that, that was when
Okay.
music was awesome and when movies were awesome. Mm-hmm. It's when culture was awesome.
can I ask you an awesome
When it was
question?
all, oh, you want to, okay.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Am I going to be able to answer it?
Yeah, here's the real song when it came out.
You
Okay.
should plead the fifth.
When fucking Rollin' by Fred Durst came out, did you
Yes.
not find yourself on a BMX bike with your hat backwards, with the Walkman in your
had it.
pocket, listening to it? Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? Keep
I
rolling.
had a red hat, dude.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, no, Limp Bizkit was the shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. Greg's over here.
Greg's over.
He's
Greg is
motherfucking
eye
us.
fucking us right
I
now.
didn't say nothing.
Greg, I could see it in the
almost
looks of
saw
your face.
the pressure in his face, and I almost popped out of his skull.
I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan.
Limp Bizkit was awesome, dude. It was. I mean, come on. It was nothing that we'd ever heard before. It was like.
I mean, the
it was-
chocolate starfish
And the hot dog flavor-
hot dog flavored water. You
Come
guys
on.
are geniuses.
Come on.
Do you guys know what Limp Bizkit is?
Well,
No.
Okay, you don't know what Limp Bizkit is?
I used to remember, but I don't remember.
It's a game. It's a game they play overseas. Kind of like the
Oh,
accents we were
I
trying
think
to
I know where
so-
this is going.
you
Is
take
it like soggy waffle?
I'm gonna say it. We're
Jizkit.
way past getting turned down by YouTube. So you take a biscuit,
Okay.
and you're with your friends.
Yeah.
You're in a group of people
Yeah.
you like, and you all ejaculate on said biscuit. And the one to get
Soggy waffle.
the one to get
Cookie.
Yeah.
It's so soggy waffle.
So the one to get the time that takes the most time to ejaculate has to eat the biscuit. At the end.
100% soggy.
So that's
waffle.
Limp Biscuit, yeah.
Yeah.
So all you fuckers, if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Gross.
It still didn't change.
Who really actually fucking played that
If
game?
you
Right?
played
I don't
that
give
game,
a fuck.
We've all heard about
we
this
know
game,
the
but I've
story.
never known anybody.
Exactly. Never
Yeah.
known one person in my childhood that ever was like,
I think it's a myth.
dude.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think it's a myth. Like
played-
Marilyn Manson removed his rib to suck his own dick. Like it's a fucking myth.
Has to
weird,
be.
weird shit from the 90s people made up.
It's a myth.
It has
Yeah.
to be. 'Cause
You're thrown in that category right now.
no one ever came up to me like, bro, I played soggy waffle last night.
Unless Fred
No
Durst
way,
himself
you
wants to
did?
come out and say, I played Limp Bizkit.
You know.
So I mean, I just was never a big fan, but I was into different genres of music at that point.
It was just a cool mashup of genre, is all. At the time.
No,
especially,
the rap rock thing.
Especially at that time, because you only had rock. Yeah, like everything was its own thing. And
The
then,
only thing that was different around that time was Cypress Hill,
yeah,
ICP, which I wasn't not fucking listening to.
yeah, Deftones. Deftones was definitely like
Cottonmouth Kings.
Rage Against
Yeah.
the Machine. I remember Cottonmouth Kings.
Yeah, dude, I'd love to see a CMK.
Cypress Hill.
They played Hemp Fest in Seattle.
Cypress Hill?
Yeah,
No.
Cypress Hill was the shit.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what I'm
Cypress
saying,
Hill.
too.
No.
So all those guys, like in that little time frame,
Yeah, there were some, and then
that was a whole little genre.
but a lot of it was more of sticking to the rap, I guess, so to say.
Yeah.
Alien Ant Farm.
yeah.
I went to an Alien Ant Farm concert from a
that.
guy that was in my ward because my grandma was a huge Mormon. And the drummer from the band was a Mormon. And the fucking stake president took us to a fucking Alien Ant Farm concert.
Nice.
Because it was him that was playing the drums.
wow.
And I was like, is this Mormon music?
I wanted
Right.
that reverse mohawk so bad.
dude.
To me, that was like the coolest fucking hairstyle ever.
The Hawk Mo.
Yeah, that little reversal going. But going back to saying, like, that was what made Limp Bizkit cool to me, was because it was not mostly rap
different,
anymore.
man.
It was mostly like this hard rock, borderline kind of going to a metal, but with rap in it. I move out. And then you had Korn at the same time, who
Yeah.
it just kind of all meshed together.
Right.
And then Slipknot fucking threw it to the stratosphere in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. And Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey
Oh, yeah.
Taylor.
Head.
Slipknot
Yeah.
helped me
And
through a lot.
It kind of, the way it all just kind of came together. They all, to me, all those groups, and Limp Bizkit will be in that group of bands that were game changing in that time frame of life. Game changing. I don't care who you are.
There was a lot of development and blending of genres and experimentation in music at that point in time. I enjoyed most of it. Was never a huge Limp Bizkit fan. It's not like I was like, oh, they're fucking terrible. I hate
Dude,
these
Faith,
guys. But
I don't care who you are. Faith, if that ever comes on, Faith is still one of those ones where you sing along.
It's a good song.
Oh yeah, we had our own version of that song.
What was that version?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if we replaced the word touch in that lyric with something else? Of course, I'm in junior high.
Did it involve the word fucked?
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, and of course, at the time, it was like super different and very popular. But there's a couple of reasons I wasn't like, oh my God, this is great. It got worn out like the town whore
Well,
worn
because
out.
it was such a catchy song.
Yeah.
The only thing I could have done, and the radio did this at least, was cutting out the last
Yeah.
bit of that song when it was just nonstop, just blood-curdling scream.
Yeah.
And
Followed by heavy guitar.
Yeah. It just to kind of just end it on the note that you had it on.
The same riff like
Yeah.
15 times
Yeah.
in a row.
Yeah, exactly. And at least radio, they did it. And then when I heard the full version, I was like, oh, that part sucks. But the rest of
Yeah.
it, it's
Let's
just
go ahead and skip
it's
now.
just a very catchy song.
Yeah. And then there were a bunch, there's like a specific like subculture of dudes that I
Well,
went to school with
There is that.
that were like the halfway jock, halfway
Yeah.
slacker
That
guys.
listen to Limp Bizkit. Yep.
Yeah, and they're all a bunch of fucking douchebags.
Well, you
Hated
know.
those guys.
That's what made you hate Limp Bizkit. See, if they didn't get into it, you, to this day, would still say Limp Bizkit's fucking awesome. But it was because of them.
Well, no,
they
because-
ruined Limp Bizkit
Man,
for you.
you just explained me to a T.
Well,
Man, fuck.
maybe we wouldn't have gotten along back then. But
I was half a jock,
yeah, you know, I did
half a skater.
I did a lot of sports and I did a lot of skating.
well, so this was
Listen to some douchebag music, I guess now.
Yeah.
let's be
I
specific
guess
about this
we're
because
douchebags, Derek.
I hung
Greg-
out with everybody
Greg fucking
too.
hates us.
Oh man,
He hates us.
Hulk smash.
I know. It's This makes
were
me
you?
sad. Do you think he talks shit about us when he goes home now?
Were
He's
you
like, God, I
rich?
fucking had to hang out with those two again. They wrote me into this fucking bullshit doing this podcast and stuff. I can't fucking take it. Jesus Christ. Hey guys, how you doing? Let's talk.
Were you like yuppie rich shit talkers?
No.
No.
Because these kids were
No.
yuppie rich shit talkers.
I was
who wanted
the
to
guy
act
that
hard.
that swam team, did water polo,
Yeah.
and I'd go to the fucking stoner park, hang out with the stoners, hence the Jenko jeans and all that good stuff, and hang out with all them. And then I'd go and I'd fucking skate home, and then I'd hang out with all my skater and BMX friends because I had a BMX too.
And listen to Limp
Right.
Bizkit and a
Exactly.
Sony
And listen to
Walkman.
Limp Bizkit, and my computer was in my garage. So then, during the time of Kazaa and LimeWire, we'd fucking download a bunch of music and turn the speakers up so we could have that going out into
Right.
the onto the street and stuff as we're doing our thing. Or we'd close the garage door and be like, "Dude, check out this video.
Your mom hated you.
Check out
Now,
this video."
this could have
My
been.
mom wasn't home a whole lot during that time.
I was going to say the music blaring from
'Cause
if you were
she
turning
was-
it up to hear from the street, like that's a
She was working a lot, single parent and all.
yeah.
So I got away with a lot of shit at the time. A lot of shit.
This was like a specific group of guys that I went to school with from like elementary school through high school, and we just didn't get along.
So you watch their evolution.
and these guys were like, I hung out with a variety of people too. I wore like Wrangler jeans and like slip-on boots and like a heavy metal band T-shirt, and hung out with the stoner kids in the hacky sack circle.
like that.
So
I love that.
obviously, I had identity issues
Hey,
as a teenager.
There's no such
right?
thing because I hung out with everybody in school.
Yeah,
It didn't matter if you were the popular kids. I knew the popular kids. If you were the stoners, I knew the stoners. Skaters, bikers, the fucking goths. Like I hung out with them all. Like we were all cool. I even
see.
I did improv, so I hung out with some of the acting kids and the band kids and shit too. Like it didn't matter.
Well, I was in
I got
orchestra and jazz band and symphony. I was in music, but so I got along way better with like the nerds and the stoners than the popular kids. But the popular kids were the same popular kids from like the 4th grade on. So, okay, guys. Let's have a crisp opening of Boardroom Banter Ale.
You are so not going to find it anywhere.
Excellent.
Oh, that was good.
So, it like the current younger generations talk about gatekeeping.
What?
Gatekeeping.
What?
Of
Right.
what?
What do you gatekeep?
Yeah.
So apparently,
What?
Gen X and millennials are a bunch of
What
gatekeepers.
fucking Gandalf bullshit are you trying to
What
pull?
do
You
millen-
shall not pass.
Can I say something?
Sure.
What do you have as millennials that you're going to gatekeep?
Nothing.
Well, I agree.
Nothing.
I agree. Well, okay. Well, let me give
They're
you an
gonna be like,
example.
Scores on
They're gonna be like,
Minecraft?
Bro, did you see that movie Point Break? You're talking with Kiana and Patrick Swayze and all that. Who? No, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, Gen X gatekeeps us as being the first whiny generation.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And apparently,
wow.
apparently, we gatekeep Gen Z from any amount of intelligence or life experience.
Hey, get your own fucking movies and,
And then-
music,
and
and
then
then we
they-
can talk.
Yeah, they call us boomers because they think we care. That's the key. We don't give a fuck what you think.
Get a life, first of
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Get your own ideas first.
Get an identity.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then
We had, I'm sorry, but we had men's and women's rooms.
yeah, that's true. And I never saw a tampon in a man's in a boy's. or a
Here's
man's
what we
restroom.
really had. We had
entire life.
accountability.
You
We
know,
had
I just
accountability.
remember getting terrorized as a child, and that's why.
Can
I
I
have
say something
that's
more
why
than
I have a
accountability?
fear of shitting in a public restroom is always
We
getting terrorized by
fucking-
other students when you're taking a shit, and they would try and jump.
Because the other one
stalls
would
on
look
you.
over the stall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Hence why
You don't take a shit at school.
I don't even take a shit at work.
Is that why you're so scarred?
I will not shit
I
in
will-
a public restroom.
I
I
won't,
cannot. Won't do it.
won't look over the stall.
Nope. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Do you know what really changed our generation? We stopped saying the fucking Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, there's that too. I remember doing that every morning.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was
saying.
already out of school before
Yeah.
all that happened.
Well, I went to private school for most of my.
You said it. Really?
Yeah,
You
we
didn't-
said it
No,
all the way through school.
that's what
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Yeah, so I was out of school before it ever so it was a daily thing for us.
We did Pledge of Allegiance. So obviously, being that I was in private school up until 6th grade, we would do Pledge of Allegiance and an Our Father.
This is all making sense. David does not use public restrooms because A, people used to jump over the stalls and look at him. B, because his fucking
he was in a
because
Catholic
the
school.
pastor of his church used to touch him as a child.
No,
in the
that
bathroom.
never actually happened.
I know
Father Tony was he was a badass. He was Asian dude, super nice guy.
he was Asian.
Yeah. We had
Oh,
and there
won't
was a
even
weird
hurt.
part. We had sisters that actually worked. We had no fathers that were actual teachers. It was all sisters that were teachers. And then you would get the occasional that was female, but they weren't a sister. And they were teaching.
Yeah.
And then there was Mr. Weber. I want to say
The whitest guy you could find to come and fill that role.
No, like legitimately probably was. He was our 3rd grade teacher, and he was absolutely amazing. But I'm trying to think, like, of all the teachers, I think he was the only male teacher at our school. If memory serves correctly.
What about Father Tony? He was a guy, right?
No, he was. So our school was directly next door to a church, and we would actually go. I forget which day of the week it was, but we would actually go from school into church, and we would do church. Right next door.
God bless your soul, sir.
This is all Catholic, Catholic schooling and all that. And then we would come back and we would go to class and stuff. But Father Tony, I remember. He was super, super nice guy. Sister Margaret was my 4th grade teacher. Sister Margaret was a badass. She probably isn't living anymore, I would imagine, because she was already pretty aged at that time.
I mean, she's a fucking nun. She didn't drink or smoke or do any of the devil's work.
Nope, she did not. She's
probably still alive.
Man, she'd be
super old.
She'd be pushing some age, because I would imagine at that time she was probably, I mean, now knowing how a person looks at a certain age, I would say she had to have been in her late 60s. At the time.
When you were a child?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, there's no way.
I mean, she was definitely on
the
other side of the hill.
She could be 90 something now. That's reasonable.
It's
she lived a fucking good life.
Maybe not reasonable, but possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. So
I mean, we've got people who've lived to 120 years of age in the history books.
This is true. This is true.
I think the oldest person just died, and it was like 115, 116, maybe 113. I don't know. Quote me if I'm wrong.
I would be interested to find this out, so I'm going to ask the interwebs.
They just barely
died.
died.
Who is the oldest person who has ever lived?
No, not whoever lived, but the oldest person that just died.
In India.
Well, sure. I understand you're saying like in current history, but I was curious.
I'm going to say it's somebody in India. I don't know why. I just feel that that's the area.
So this person on the history books, according to this web search anyways, the oldest person whose age has been independently verified is Janine Calment.
That's a very
Calment.
Very white name.
Lived from 1875 to 1997 in France. And lived to the age of 122 years and 164 days.
Wow. I did say she was white.
That's got to be miserable.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on her.
How many days was she shitting on herself?
But hey, no. Are you like
that
no,
old?
No. Are you bedridden old, or are you like William
Functional
Shatner? Are you
old.
William Shatner old?
Right.
And that's I've always said
I'm
that
shatting on something that old.
I'm just saying. I always said when I was younger, if I'm bedridden old, just give me the gun, let me do it. If I'm William Shatner old, cool, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe being old's cool.
Well, we're all going to find out at some point.
If I have a different life every day when I wake up and I don't know who the fuck you are,
Ain't like it's
where
ever
I'm
going to
at.
stop. We're all going to find out here. We're going to find out in a couple of years here what it's going to be.
Bro, I hate to admit this, but I smoked off so much tinfoil in my life. I know I'm going to have Alzheimer's.
Well, my body is so physically shot already. I fear the fact when I start getting into my 50s.
So we're all just going to be, me,
it's in the
you, and
food.
Greg are all going to be so fucked.
Hey, someone's going to fix that. Make America healthy again.
Somebody talked about.
I did hear that. Make America healthy again.
Me, you, and Greg are
Maha.
just going to be old each other.
That's
and
what it was.
Helping each other out.
You know, I hope we're all like 98 years old someday and talking mad shit about people younger than us to their faces.
But hey, who knows? Stem cells are getting really good, so maybe they're going to get really good soon.
You know, stem cells are something that honestly could be the fountain of youth, but it's such a wretched subject because of how they need to be harvested.
Well, you know, let's not talk about that part.
Yeah, no, we won't dive into that. And I think most of our listeners will understand, particularly if they're our age, because they remember when litigation happened.
If you want to be green about it, it's recycling.
Recycling doesn't make sense.
Not plastic. Aluminum does. Aluminum does, but not plastic or
None
glass.
of it does.
Aluminum does. Aluminum does make sense to recycle. It's easier. It's more cost efficient, and it's less.
The fucking truck that's driving to your house that's throwing off the same emissions, if not worse, to pick up that fucking extra garbage can and then taking it to the recycling plant is not fucking helping the world out.
Well, it's not all about emissions, though.
Well, I know, but just the extra work and everything.
The big lie about it is that you throw your plastics and shit in there, and most plastics can't be recycled.
Yeah,
that's the big lie, and we all take those.
Aluminum's the only thing that makes sense.
All day, you can melt that shit down in your backyard and make ingots.
Yeah, I don't believe in recycling.
It's one of the few things that you can recycle. That and cardboard, like those are the two.
Well, like
and paper.
The big thing like that you're talking about.
Not if your cardboard or paper had food on it, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
technically you can't put it in your recycling bin at that point.
All right. Let's just go with
any non-pizza box.
There's a reason why in like the 70s it was all glass.
Yeah,
because you can recycle glass and aluminum.
But aluminum makes sense. Glass kind of makes sense. A lot of it gets rejected, broken. Glass is.
But you can at least remelt that and remake
Glass is not super harmful to the environment.
I know half the bottles I get nowadays are like 50% used by another bottle. It's like, that's awesome.
That's what they tell you.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what they tell you.
I don't really
It's
care.
like slapping organic on half the shit that you see in a store nowadays. And it's not fucking organic. They use an organic pesticide.
Yeah, they use...
It's still a fucking pesticide.
Yeah.
And then organic meats that are farm grown are often subjected to more inoculations.
You know, I have truly found
stuff.
some frozen chicken that I truly don't believe have any antibiotics or steroids in them because they're like this thin.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
From Costco.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
but the other ones are like this thick and like they're like, oh, no antibiotics. It's like chicken doesn't get that big.
Just get some chickens in your backyard, bruh. Have a good time with it.
We don't have a backyard.
Raising meat chickens is a different deal than raising egg layers, David.
Hey,
we live in like one of the most 10 highest
way.
Places to live in the
Once
country.
they're all egged out, guess what? They're going on the table.
They're terrible. Your egg layers are not good to eat. And then on top of that, to raise the meat chickens the way that you're going to be accustomed to having them means putting them in like a 3x3 cage and not really letting them move around.
You know, on an off note, during the time in Hawaii, you want to know something interesting? Have either of you been there?
Never been there.
No. Okay, so this is at least Oahu. I don't know about the other islands, you know, Kona and fucking all the other ones. But at least on Oahu, there is wild chickens and roosters that just fucking are everywhere.
That's kind of cool.
You'd be driving down the road. You'd be in the middle of the city in downtown, fucking Honolulu, and there's a fucking rooster just fucking cruising, hanging out. I remember going to the Walmart, and we're not even anywhere near Honolulu anymore. We're on the outskirts, but just some rooster just going to town in a tree.
So I heard that,
fucking going off, you know. But
and they actually got weird rooster laws too. Like if you do some weird shit,
you see chicken and rooster just fucking hanging out. Like it's just this is the wildlife. Chickens and roosters hanging out. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
You don't see wild chickens and roosters. No. You see wild fowl around here like pheasants and turkeys and stuff, but not chickens and roosters.
No,
I see a lot of homeless people.
It's kind of an odd thing to see.
Definitely some wild homeless people.
In my head, that's farm. That's farm. That's going to the table.
But they were wild at some point in time.
They were. And you see them like we were driving through this little tiny town, and They're on a median. There's much grass, and you see some baby chicks there, fucking rooster hanging out, doing his thing, and a bunch of fucking hens just plucking away in the grass, trying to find some food. It's a little odd thing. Just saying. I don't know. Is that spooky enough for you? No?
Spooky.
It's very spooky.
Oh, man. Nothing spookier than an unbeknownst donkey screech at midnight. If you've ever heard a donkey in real life, they let out this banshee screech before they start the hee-haw part. And if you don't know what's next door to you and it's like midnight and you're in your hot tub and you're half sauced and you hear that, it might scare you a little bit.
After hearing a screaming goat... I don't know. Could you imagine that being on a farm and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, a whole 2 hours before you got to wake up, and all of a sudden you just hear a screaming goat from your barn?
I would have that goat for one night. After that, I would have goat meat.
Oh, yeah. It's not bad.
It's okay.
It's all right.
It's a little tough.
To it.
It's a little gamey.
Yeah.
A little...
Yeah.
God fucking llama.
I thought you closed the door.
I did. And then he heard us talking about farm animals, and
God, is he about to shit on the floor over there?
probably.
Oh, he's dropping a growler.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What is that? Have you been giving the goat beer? That's terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but my llama has gotten out. I gotta go round his ass back up.
Get the shovel.
I know. It's... I try. I don't know. It's like he's got a lockpick or something in his fucking pen.
Good God.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Again, hope you had a great Halloween with either yourself, you and your spouse, or you, your spouse, and a kid or two.
Or a dead body.
Or just your friends terrorizing the world in non-harmful ways.
You know.
I mean, Dexter needs to have fun too.
Yeah.
Eggs, TPing. Do they still do that anymore?
No, kids suck now. They don't do shit.
They don't even go
Necrophilia.
outside.
They hassle people on social media and think they're cool.
That's right. They don't go
They
outside
talk
anymore.
shit through a keyboard and think they're awesome.
They have their parents buy them candy.
Yeah, and then they have their parents stick up for them.
You had to
too.
keep the front door closed to keep them from running outside. Now you just leave the door open because you know they're not going to go outside anymore.
ever.
Nowhere.
If the house was on fire, they'd be like, "Oh my God, is the Wi-Fi going to turn off?"
Can I grab my
That's a shame.
Oculus and take it with me? What if it doesn't work outside when I can't plug it in anymore?
Yeah, it's got augmented reality.
Let's augment our reality on the Oculus boardroom banter.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah.
Everybody, we'll talk to you next week. Again, we are here every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, every Friday without fail. Have a great night.